A tie. It's the first time since 1969 the Cowboys have experienced a tie game that ended the way it did. This is the Cowboys game plan, and welcome back. If you haven't already, man, come leave a subscribe, leave a like. We got a statistic that 90+% of y'all aren't subscribed who are watching, man. We would love for y'all to come join our game plan club, and we would just love to get your comments, feedback, likes. It helps the algorithm promote us, and if you enjoy, man, seriously, leave a like and subscribe. I got my co-host Mike here, and what we're going to start off with is a three-word reaction. So it's basically your three-word reaction to the game. What you got?
Well, if they didn't already know this, Dak is him. That's my three-word reaction. Bring the man his crown. Right? This was a game where you got to see him in all his glory, and the Russell Wilson game that he had. That's the kind of game that Dak has always been capable of, and that's the kind of game he had in Arlington on Sunday. Just fantastic to watch. In
My
person, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We were there in person for the first time ever, and what a game to experience. But didn't know how to feel about it because it ended in a tie.
Yeah.
So what a game to go
Very
to. But
entertaining, though. Well worth the money.
oh yeah. So my three-word reaction is damn, wow, damn, because the game started off like damn, and then it was
Yeah.
like wow, and then when the tie happened, I was like damn.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to feel. I got like all excited and hyped up, and then the clock hits zero in overtime, and they're all like, "Yep, it's over." You're like, hmm.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I think everybody knows who won that game. It,
Yeah,
it,
I
it
do
was
too.
pretty clear. A clock manager saved the Packers and Micah because that was the storyline from a lot of embarrassment. But everybody knows who won that game. You know what I mean? And that's what you got to take away from it at the end of the day. We know we got the W on that. It's not in the books, but it's the W.
Yeah, so
It's the W.
let's kind of talk about it, man.
Sure.
Let's
Yeah.
start off. Let's start off with the offense, and I'll kind of let you have the floor because Dak is him. Dak is
Right.
his back is hurting so bad that he had to put heating pads on. And in the
Right.
post game, they asked him if everything was okay, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just getting old." Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure the Dallas Cowboys defense is aging you faster than it should be right now. So I'll kind of let you have the floor, man. Give me your reaction. What you got?
The offense proved a lot to me. In the past years, we've seen that if CD is not on the field, we struggle. Dak is our quarterback. He's fantastic, and he gets points on the board, but a lot of drives stall out. We don't have any production on the ground, and we just get outgunned eventually. We get out muscled. We just can't keep up with the scoring drives that our opponents usually have, and that usually leads to additional people getting hurt. Because they're having to go above and beyond their ability to get points on the board. But what I liked about the offense in this game is that everybody played well and everybody contributed. I went back and looked at the film, and we'll cover some of that in future videos this week. But every receiver did their job to the point where Dak had multiple options on every read. Turpin whooped his man so many times, you could put a film session out on him alone. The man was always open. Feed me the ball, always open.
Mm-hmm.
Dak benefited from that. These players are recognizing what their offense is capable of right now, and they're executing at a very high level. Dak was able to get the ball out, whip snap quick with Micah trying to chase him down. Micah could not keep up with how fast Dak was dishing it. It was great to see. Obviously, George Pickens stepped up, fulfilled that one receiver role, did a great job, did what he needed to do, prove a lot to a lot of people. But I really want to give a shout out for the fourth week in a row to Javonte Williams. Great job. Obviously, that's our guy. A lot of people owe him an apology. But there's some unsung heroes on the offense in this game. Ryan Fronoy, the way he played, he contributed on a couple of big plays that really helped keep us in drives. Glad to see that. That was amazing. Jake Ferguson finally back in the end zone since either it was like 2023 was the last
Yeah.
time. So, there was just a lot of good stuff going on. The offensive line, three undrafted free agents on our line. I mean, come on. There were a couple times, there was a really good hustle play that got Turpin, broke free, and then that got saved on a play a couple times from a lineman who just had his head on the swivel and knew what was going on. But for the offense, it was just amazing to watch in person, and they did a great job. So much fun. I'm really happy and have a lot of hope for what the offense can do for us this year. What do you think about it?
I mean, I totally agree. The offensive performance was phenomenal. And the best part is that I've been talking about it for weeks when it comes to Brian Schottenheimer and the coaching staff. Is what do you do when you go down basically two touchdowns, right? Even though it wasn't 14-0, it was really 12-0. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't 12-0. It was no, was it 12? No, it was 13. I'm sorry,
It was
13-0
we were
because we
down 13-0 before
yeah.
we got to 2 points, right?
Yeah, so we were down 13-0, and Brian Schottenheimer found a way to keep the offense balanced and found a way to strike back in that moment because that last 2 minutes of that second quarter is what made the difference of a world in that game. Those two touchdowns back to back is what put Green Bay in shock before going into halftime, and
Right,
so I loved the way that they did this game plan. I wish that Dak didn't have to drop back 40 times, but
right.
when you they adjusted. In the past, we've seen this Cowboys offense just try to force things, instead of adjusting to how the game needs to be played. And Schottenheimer did a really good job of that while keep using Javonte Williams and finding ways to use like Tolbert and Ferguson and using Cavante Turpin and even got Miles Sanders involved. I mean, all these guys were involved. Every tool was used that we had available. I'm really proud for them. I'm really happy that our offensive line, they did a pretty good job. Yes, Dak may have had to like roll around a little bit, step up, step back, but that's what an experienced quarterback is supposed to do. He understands that there's a serious pass rush coming at him and he knows how to get the ball out, but Schottenheimer is helping him get the ball out by designing plays to just quick to take what they give you because that's what the Packers were doing to us too, and the Cowboys fired back with the same thing. That's why Ryan Flanoy was such a big guy. Turpin was so big, and I love the way that Dak could just step back and say, "I'll take your hit all day, but I'm getting this ball off, and there ain't nothing you can do
Whipping.
about it." So I'm really proud for them. I love the direct snap to Javonte Williams. I don't know when the
Yeah, that
last
was
time we
cool.
saw some
Yeah,
special design like that. The last time we saw Dak Prescott drop back for a quarterback draw and score. I mean, there was just a lot of creativity, and I'll even give credit to whether it was Schottenheimer or Clayton Adams on putting Nate Thomas in the game for. I think they said it was like 12 to 14
12. It was
snaps.
12 snaps. Yeah. What was
Yeah,
your
and they
favorite
put
play? What play stood out to you the most in this game? If it, offensively, and don't worry about if it scored a touchdown or anything. Just like what was the play that was like, wow, that was
the
cool.
it had to be the George Pickens, the last touchdown before the overtime, where he caught it, skirted on the inside, and just burnt those guys for the pylon.
And ended up
That
getting
now,
somersaulted into the pylon. Yeah, that was cool.
yeah. So that play was awesome right there because you just thought right then and there that your defense was gonna be able to hold them off, and I mean we
Sure.
were just firing back. Like the Packers scored with like a minute 47 left, and you're like, oh, this is not good. And then all of a sudden you get the ball and you just score that quick. This offense has so much firepower.
Yeah.
When I look at this offense, it's like we have so much firepower and we have so much ability to, as long as we can stay healthy, to compete in these games. But it's all going to come down to the defense. And the defense, I mean, they're struggling. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's more of the land of missed opportunities. Like that Green Bay game, and I'll kind of transition to defense as I do this, but it's one of those things where it's like that 4th and 7 in overtime, missed opportunity, and then we've had a couple others during the games where we gotta find ways to get off the field on third down. Like we are getting to third down and we are forcing some manageable third downs to stop, but we're not converting on the defensive side to get them off the field, and that's what kept the Packers
Right.
alive in a bunch of it. But I love the way that they were able to kind of just keep fighting. I mean, yes, they put
Sure.
up 40 points, and you can paint the stats however you want to. You could say the defense was horrible and all that, but the defense did make a couple plays. I mean, they tried their hardest, but they do need to capitalize better on third down. So.
Absolutely. I think we learned a lot from this game. We learned a ton.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite play from the offense, just so I can shout out, was that Tolbert faith pass.
Yeah.
Toe tap Tolbert. Man, that was crazy. That was just Dak just putting it in a spot and hoping his guy was going to come back and get the
I
ball.
had
That
I
one
had
had me
like
out of my seat, man. The towel was whipping, man. It was great. That was a cool play to see, and it's even better in replay.
yeah, I had the flashback of like Terrence Williams because Terrence Williams back in the
Yeah,
Romo days was the
right.
toe tap king, and when I saw that, I was like, whoa. So I just
Yeah,
had like a flashback to him. But yeah, keep going.
yeah. So on defense, you know, this was a top 15 offense, and what was supposed to be one of the approaching, if not already crowned, elite defenses in the NFL. Right? All good. That's cool. We hung 40 on them, and we held them. We hung with them, right, and on both sides of the ball, as much as anybody, more than anybody obviously expected, because we were supposed to get whooped, blown off the field, shouldn't show up, just turn the lights out, give them the W, don't even get in the locker room, right? That's all cool, but that's why they play the game, and it didn't turn out that way. The absence of CD Lamb created a vacuum so that the players who needed to perform could have that opportunity to do so and elevate their game so that they play like that. Knowing they're capable of doing it now, they can play like that all the time. So then when CD comes back, oh man, it's going to be brutal. If we can get consistent, it's going to be a problem. I know we transitioned to defense, so let me just give you my points on that. A lot of people may not think so because of the 40 points that were scored against us, but I feel like the defense played better. It did play better. I like the changes that they made. I think it really identified what we already kind of figured were the problems were actually obviously the problems, because the areas that had, other players taking snaps and the rotation was a little bit different, those spots improved. We improved in our safeties. Obviously, Bland being back makes an impact, but a lot of the middle of the field had some rotational changes that exposed a couple of still existing issues. We'll cover those in some film study, but
Mm-hmm.
overall, the defense played well. I mean, we generated pass rush. We affected their play design. James Houston had a strip fumble and a recovery, a sack strip. I mean, that's good stuff. That's what we got to have. There were a couple times where, like you said, we had them off the field. We had them shut down and locked down, but then we do something dumb at the wrong time and give them a whole new set of downs. And when you do that with a team like that, they're gonna move the ball. You can't screw around with them. You can't take 30 extra steps and 20 minutes after the whistle's been blown and hit someone in the back. I get it.
Yeah,
He had
that
his
that one.
goods and his bad. I'm not calling no names out tonight because I'm happy with what we got from the boys. So, he made up for it with a couple smacks he made, but those are the kind of things that I saw. I think the defense performed better. I think it's only going to improve, and when that margin starts to balance out a little bit, it's going to be a problem. Top five offense and a top 15 defense, lights out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just I call it missed opportunities, like just finding ways to convert touchdowns to field goals and getting them
Right,
off on third down. Well, if we can
right.
just crack the top 20, top 15 on this defensive side of the ball before, midway through this year, I mean, we got a chance to make a run at something here. Not saying it's Super Bowl caliber by all means, but you have a good chance to make a run and maybe get hot in the playoffs. And you never know what can happen. It's like any given Sunday. It's like you said, right? It's supposed to be blown out of the water. Everyone's, saying don't even show up. Don't even get off the don't even come in your fancy car to your own stadium. Just stay
Right.
home and forfeit. So, no, I was really proud of them and I was happy to see at least the fight on the offensive side. The defensive side, just keep working on what they're working on. But you saw at least what appeared to be less confusion and not as many
Right.
explosive plays. They even tried to run
100%.
trick plays, and we stopped one of them. So it's
Right.
like one of those things where they were dumping short screens and dumping short passes to get those yardage, right?
Yeah, the flats are a problem right now.
Yeah. And I loved how Schottenheimer didn't start Trayvon Diggs. You know, maybe he noticed that he was struggling last game and then noticed that maybe he was struggling in practice and didn't start him. And I love the fact that they rotated him. And hopefully Trayvon, has officially earned his starting job back and he can get back out there and doing what Trayvon does. And then same thing with Bland. Bland came back. I know he was kind of responsible for the first two touchdowns, but they were good passes, and he'll get better as the weeks go on. I have no star down on that guy at all. I have the fullest of confidence, and I'm happy to be able to know that we're moving forward and we're getting better.
Right. Yeah, develop some consistency on, the defensive side of the ball. Keep the pass rush generating that we're off the line. We're moving now. So if we can just continue to grow there, man, you give us 5 or 6 weeks, and this could be a really, really strong competitive team. I'm not going to say playoffs or anything like that, but let's just see if we can be competitive consistently at the level of our ability every week, and then we can see what happens. But very happy with the game, very happy with the team right now.
We'll kind of put it like this. I know it's a tie, so there's no win or loss, but we'll end it like this. Do you have a player of a game? I mean, someone who you think stepped up to the challenge?
Oh man, I got a few to be honest with you. I think Pickens. He could have easily fallen into the media pressure and the storyline and crumbled under that spotlight. Playing in Dallas is a thing. It's not like playing in other places. I mean, New York is maybe the closest place where you get the kind of media attention that you get playing here at the Star. So Pickens, Javante, but the one who did something special for me tonight was James Houston. Get that man more snaps. You know, he needs to be on the field more. And I get the slow play that you're trying to do with him just because you want to use him, as a special weapon. You put him out there when you need something to happen. And he's fresh and he's hungry when he comes on the field and he can make those things happen. And if you have him, taking every snap, the blade's going to dull a little bit. So I don't know if that's what it is or if they're just still trying to find the right rotation, or maybe they did it intently, because they wanted certain packages out there. But I definitely think he's going to be an impact player. So he gets my stars up award for the night.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with George Pickens. I spoke about it before in our pregame. Is he had to step up and be that Georgia dog, and that dog definitely came out, and I was more than happy to see it in person. Just a whole amazing night from him, taking that number one job and being able to create opportunities for guys like Turpin and Tolbert. What CD did for those guys, he did for those guys tonight. So
Right.
it was amazing to see, and I'm super excited going forward. It seems like we're gaining improvement, but we have still have a very tough road ahead of us, and we're not that great of a team yet. But we can make steps to keep going that way.
Yeah, big statement game. So the rest of this week we've got some film studies we're going to do. We'll do the pregame for the Jets and cover all the headlines for that. So make sure you like and subscribe for us. Leave comments if there's something you want to see or something you want us to do on the channel. We'll be happy to do it. Just let us know what you're into, and with that, we'll be back here before too long.
Yep. So just one last thing. Apologize to our fans for a couple days late. I was on a work trip and I just got back a couple hours ago, so just was able to finally get into video. So until
Better
next
late than
time,
never.
yeah. Until next time, Cowboys game plan.